Hello viewers, this is Mushahid Hussain from Pakistan with another episode of Global South Voices on behalf of the CGTN, which is China's global television network for the world. And Global South Voices is a flagship program of the CGTN which focuses on issues pertaining to the Global South with a different perspective, as the Global South is today the world's majority and a place which is driving globalization and development. In today's show, we will be focusing on a very important part of the Global South, the dynamic and the developing region of Southeast Asia. Grouped together, ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And ASEAN is now today one of the most cohesive regional organizations promoting trade, investment, connectivity in the region. And this year also marks, in fact, April 1955 marks 70 years of the Bandung Conference, which also was focused in this region, hosted by Indonesia, and which was the precursor of the non-aligned movement and also what we now call the Global South. The context of our program today is the upcoming visit of President Xi Jinping to Malaysia, to Cambodia, to Vietnam. And Malaysia this year is also the host of the ASEAN Summit with the theme Inclusivity and Sustainability, and as chairman of the ASEAN. We'll start our show with a lead commentary and a lead discussion by a very eminent speaker from Southeast Asia, a very prominent public figure of the Philippines, a political leader of a lot of respect and standing, Francis Manglapus. He has been chairman of the Lakas CMD, which was the ruling party of the Philippines once. He has been also Secretary General of the CAPDI, the Centrist Asia Pacific Democrats International, in which capacity he has an outreach with centrist political parties all over the world. So over to you, Francis Manglapus, for your lead commentary on ASEAN. And then after your commentary, we'll introduce the other guests and take the discussion forward. Thank you.
My pleasure to be participating in Global South Voices, China Global Television's flagship show for the Global South, especially since the show today focuses on ASEAN and the upcoming visit of President Xi Jinping to Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia. In this context, ASEAN and China have developed a close relationship, being each other's largest trading partner for the 5th consecutive year. ASEAN-China trade in 2024 reached almost $1 trillion. And with the ASEAN-China Free Trade Zone helping to propel this trade volume, China's exports to ASEAN exceeds those to the United States and the European Union. Now, as President Xi Jinping prepares to visit Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia, we are reminded of ASEAN's evolving position in global affairs. Investments through the Belt and Road Initiative have accelerated infrastructure development and deepened economic ties. From Malaysia's high-tech industries to Vietnam's booming exports and Cambodia's rapid growth, China's engagement with ASEAN is shaping the region's future. Asia today is a dynamic place where cultures, countries, economies are being interconnected through trade, tourism, culture, investment, and getting ready for new challenges like artificial intelligence. So the impulse for cooperation takes precedence over any other contentious issues. I would like to add that ASEAN is an integral component in Asia's quest for a new future based on connectivity and cooperation. An Asian approach for connectivity comes with an open mind and not limited to Asia alone or to other parts of the global south, but also having a broader outreach to the West as well. Since in this age of globalization and interdependence, we live in a multipolar world that needs a multilateral approach to collectively combat common challenges like climate change and poverty alleviation, and to open avenues for trade and investment, as no region or country can work in isolation in this interdependent world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis Manglapus, for a very powerful opening statement. And I think you're absolutely correct that the economic miracle of Southeast Asia today is no accident. And it is the result of decades of sustained development, dynamism, initiative, talent and creativity, and above all what you mentioned, political stability and decisions taken through consensus, so that cooperation takes precedence over confrontation. Now I would like to introduce the guests which are going to be in today's panel to take the discussion forward. And we will have from Malaysia a very distinguished leader of Malaysia, and I would say he's actually a leader of the Muslim world also, because I've worked very closely with him in reform of the OIC about 20 years ago when Mr. Syed Hamid Albar, he was then Minister for Foreign Affairs. He has been Cabinet Minister of Malaysia for over 20 years, Minister for Defense, for Justice, for Home, and a very outstanding Foreign Minister. And then currently he is Chancellor of the Asia E University. Welcome, sir. And then we also have from Cambodia our good friend Mr. Susiara, who is the Chairman of the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Commission and Information Commission of the Parliament of Cambodia. He is also Vice Chairman of ICAP, the International Conference of Asian Political Parties, which is the largest grouping of political parties in Asia. And above all, I think he's also a rising star in Asian politics. Thank you, Mr. Yara. And we also welcome the distinguished representative from Vietnam. I will start first with Mr. Albar, and I'd like to also mention that for this show, we have had specific questions from journalists from the 3 countries which are represented in today's program. I would like to ask you, how do you view China's relationship with Malaysia?
The relationship, insofar as the relationship between China and Malaysia is concerned, you can look at it from historical as well as the current context. Historical context, China has always been part of our history, our culture, and it influences in many ways the way we operate in the world, in a global or in the regional affairs. But insofar as Malaysia and China is concerned, we just celebrated, I think last year, our 50 years of diplomatic relations between China and Malaysia. And that shows the evolution of that relationship. We were the first, I think this is an important point, we were the first ASEAN country that decided to establish diplomatic relations with China. China has been with us from the start. And this is an important thing. Whenever we are facing, even when we are facing financial crisis, China never gives up on ASEAN, especially in the case of Malaysia. And the 97, 98 crisis, China was there. So I think the relationship has grown from strength to strength. I think this visit of Xi Jinping to Malaysia, Cambodia, and Vietnam is an important visit, in my view. And this is moving towards a new geopolitical era of development.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. I think you made two important points, that Malaysia was the first country in ASEAN to take the initiative for diplomatic relations with China in the height of the Cold War, and that was a very important initiative. And you also said that China has always been there for ASEAN countries, including Malaysia, including the period of the economic crisis. So that shows that, as they say in English, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Now I will go to Mr. Yara in Cambodia. Excellency, Mr. Yara, how do you view China's relationship with Cambodia?
I like to share with you how Cambodia benefit from the good relationship with China. It's through the generation, starting from the King Norodom Sihanouk in 1955 and 1958. We are one of the first country to accept one China policy, and of course, our relationship have begun from that time as a sole good friendship between Premier Chu Enlai and the late King Sihanouk during that time. So through time and experiences of the Cold War and to the new geopolitical environment, we can benefit the second generation and now to the third generation, as you have mentioned, from former Prime Minister Hun Sen and to the new Prime Minister Hun Manet, which he spent his first official visit to China just a month after the government is formed. And this is what we call it as connecting generation, connecting leadership, and connecting the civilization. So Cambodia serves as one of the most important gateway for the community of shared future that the consensus of the leadership between China and Cambodia have built through generation. So I think this is the first part I like to share with you as a preliminary cooperation. But in deep of that, Cambodia also serves as a connectivity platform for the regional Asian centrality through many aspects of cooperation, including economic, social, and also security. I like to emphasize that the visit of Excellency Xi Jinping to our ASEAN country, including Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia, will promote the concept of how Belt and Road initiative is connected, how the global initiative are being transferred to the region, and how could every country could benefit from the journey of the building the community of shared future. Cambodia is receiving the most FDI, the foreign direct investment from China, now accounted for more than 60% in total investment came to Cambodia in 2024. So we benefit from the infrastructure connectivity. We benefit from many trade and investment.
Thank you, Mr. Yara, for your take. And now we have a question from a journalist from Vietnam.
Hello, my name is Binh Dao. I am a journalist working for Tuổi Trẻ Youth newspaper. Youth is one of the most popular newspapers in Vietnam. My question is, how is China-Vietnam relationship through cooperation, like Belt and Road Initiative? Thank you.
The two countries, as you know, actually have come through a century of wonderful things, inspiring struggle for regaining independence and making outstanding, economic reforms. And now we come together to work together to make some miracles in the next 2 or 3 decades, become the high-income nation. In our strategy, we do believe that actually China, very, very important partner for Vietnam to realize Vietnam 2045 vision to become high-income nation when the country celebrates the 100th anniversary of independence.
Thank you. Thank you for your response. And we have had a good focus initially on the reasons behind the economic miracle of Southeast Asia. And we heard from representatives in the panel, also from Malaysia, from Cambodia, from the Philippines, and how the basis has been laid for this economic miracle through ASEAN. But there is also an important dimension now. And Mr. Hamid Albar mentioned a new geopolitical era. And he made a very important point that ASEAN should not be a platform for big power rivalry or competition. So I have a question for Mr. Syed Hamid Albar, a question from a Malaysian journalist.
Hello, my name is Faisal Jamal, and my question is, how should Southeast Asian countries, such as Malaysia, to maintain strategic autonomy and to avoid being used as a pawns in major power rivalries. Thank you.
I think international relations, whether multilateral or bilateral, it is important that it is based on mutual respect. I think we want to be able, if you talk about Global South voices, Global South is an important area. I think in terms of trade, in terms of investment, as well as a geopolitical area, is a very important area. Like the Strait itself is an important sea lane for global trade. So I think in this way, we do not want to be told what we should do. You're with us or not with us. That's not the way that we conduct our foreign policy. And I think the government already would like to exercise that freedom. We want to be able to grow and develop together. That's why the key word is cooperation, mutual respect, recognize the dignity of independent nations. And I think this will go a long way towards creating a better understanding and goodwill among countries, whether at the multilateral level or at the bilateral level. I think the geopolitical, we recognize that geopolitical landscape has changed. But this change must not be negative. It must be positive for the development of the world. The world is in turmoil because we want to impose or we want to dominate. I don't think this is the way forward. And we believe in what China is trying to do in bringing everyone together in shared development and community. What they have, they invest, both sides will be able to gain from it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to now move on to Mr. Yara, that in your view, as a country which has suffered in the past because of the conflicts, and you are, I think, quite a model in bouncing back with resilience and reconstruction. And I think your leader, Mr. Hun Sen, played a very big role in this, promoting this national reconciliation, because today we see Cambodia moving forward in a very dynamic manner. How do countries like Cambodia and other countries in Southeast Asia, they have to preserve their strategic autonomy in an age of turbulence and transformation?
Thank you. This is important for a nation resilient, based on the resilience, based on historical experience, based on the human capital. Cambodia, even we are small in the in terms of size, but we are not that small in terms of experience and knowledge. So at this moment, Cambodia is promoting the soft power, which is already empowered to the cultural asset that we have, and empowered to the experience that we went through to the difficult time. Cambodia experienced all type of political ideology, all type of regime change. So this experience, we could come up with a consolidated effort to promote and adopt the concept of the peace charters. So the peace charter, inspired from the Bandung spirit, we have committed to understand how do we prevent the conflict in the region? How do we make the responses and the goodwill of good officers to the conflict and mediate all this problem? And the third one, we also understand how we respond to this kind of the conflict and others regional competition. We try to be a very good balance, and we also support every initiative that complement each other, but not to promote the rivalry of any concept.
So how do you see the future developing between China and the ASEAN countries in different domains, especially trade, economy, investment, in the world, as you said, of geopolitical changes? Syed Hamid Elbers.
I think the most important thing now for us to recognize, China has become a major engine of the world economy. For us to ignore that is, I think, is rather naive. So if that is so, what are the areas that we can benefit from? This way we enter into very strategic and comprehensive relationship with China, covering all fields of development. And I think the most important thing in the case of China is willing to share and is willing to look at, because there is mutual trust. And I think there is there is no tendency, as we can see, to be domineering or hegemonistic. And so because of that, we feel confident that China, as being part of Asia, we want to cooperate very well. There are 3 East Asian countries that collaborate very well with ASEAN. And I think whether China, South Korea, and Japan, and it is better for us to have a platform where we have flow of investments from all these countries as well as technology in order to accelerate our investment. I think that when you talk about Global South, at one time we used to be called the third world countries,
Yeah.
But now we call ourselves the South countries. What are we interested in? Climate change we're interested in, poverty alleviation we're interested in, and we're interested to make sure that progress and development. And any country, and China has acted positively by offering expertise as well as investment, cooperating together, rather than to find, I think, short things to disagree. We try to build on things that we can converge our agreement that will bring mutual advantage, gain to both the economy, the people, the society. We want to be one of the first world countries of South Asia. And at present, I think when you're talking about ASEAN, we always talk about our centrality. In order to maintain our centrality, we need to grow. We need to progress economically. And I think this is what we are trying to do. And I think if we have worked very well with the Western countries, not that we have said, no. It is an open, the most important thing is to look at South Asia having a very open economy and very investment friendly. So I think all sides will benefit from it. Cooperation and is key. The world should not be built purely on security. It should be built on progress, on development. Then security will come together with it. And I think we are moving in that direction. I see the future of our global economy is no longer, I think, the north-centered. The future of the world is going to be south-centered. It's going to be in Asia. So let's adjust to this reality. If we adjust to this reality, if there is no, we stop competing in order to defeat each other, but instead we cooperate in order to bring benefit to each other, then we will be living in a better world where everyone will gain from it. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with your upbeat optimism that the world in the future is going to be south-centered. And I think already there's talk of the Asian century. And as you said, China is the engine of growth for the world economy, and China is part of Asia. So I think that point is well taken. Mr. Yara, there's a question for you from a journalist from Cambodia.
My name is Keo Piseth. I'm a researcher. I'm doing the PhD in political science at Royal Academy of Cambodia. I'm also a Cambodian journalist in charge of politics. I'm so pleased to be here, and I got one question. My question is, how can Cambodia and China better cooperate with each other in the future under the ASEAN framework? Thank you.
Yes, China is an engine of growth for the global economy. And I agree with our previous speaker that it will be the ASEAN century, which is, of course, ASEAN play as a part of the growth as well. And to keep our centrality, we must be progress. So that's why we have to benefit from the China's development as well. We believe in China foreign policy on the Belt and Road initiative plus the concept of win-win cooperation, then Cambodia, even a small state, but we can perform a high partnership, high value partnership, and we promote to the high quality, high level, and high standard cooperation. So at this point, we can understand the future cooperation, and in the name of community of shared future, Cambodia, China could play a role model of the success to connect from this current generation to the digital society. So, the transition of digital society, we need a very good and foundation of the education. We need a good human capital. We need competent official. We need many instruments, and as well as the financial capacity in terms of public infrastructure, in terms of the financial sector, in terms of logistics, in terms of supply chain, in terms of the Internet of Things, and any others innovative projects. So at this moment, Cambodia will focus mainly on the industrial corridor that China share with us, and now promoting the connectivity in the Mekong through the Mekong Langchang Corporation and other many projects going through to the foreign direct investment, and as well as the exchange of the capacity building for the young people, and a good exchange of this program to these human capitals. We can increase further the accessible and affordable software that China has developed. It also provides a good opportunity for the country like in Cambodia and other countries in Southeast Asia.
Thank you for your response, and this brings us to the end of this episode of Global South Voices. And I think that one of the key takeaways from the discussion today was how the world is being transformed, in which cooperation and connectivity are key, and China has now emerged as a pivotal player in promoting that cooperation with other countries, especially in Southeast Asia. And as Syed Hamid Albar rightly said, that we are heading towards a South-centered world. Already we are seeing the dawn of the Asian century, so that provides a very conducive environment for building bridges of cooperation in a host of areas, and I think I would say the sky is the limit. Thank you to all our distinguished guests that appeared today. Thank you all for your participation, and you can also find us on the CGTN app, on X, on YouTube, and on Facebook. And stay tuned to the CGTN, which is China's voice for the international world, and Global South Voices will continue to present its perspective on issues with a difference, since we represent the world's majority. Thank you for listening. Till we meet again next time, goodbye.